stirring things up again, and this time they're doing it with a name that instantly brings back the golden era of muscle cars. The 2026 Dodge Charger Sixpack is here, and it's not just another sedan. It's a bold statement. At a time when the automotive world is going electric left and right, Dodge is doubling down with a retro-styled sedan powered by good old gasoline, and not just any gasoline setup. We're talking about a 420 horsepower beast that carries one of the most iconic badges in Mopar history, the Sixpack. Let's start with the way it looks, because this car is pure nostalgia with a modern twist. Dodge took inspiration straight from the late 60s and early 70s Chargers, and you can see it in the wide stance, the muscular shoulders, and those retro-inspired headlights. It's like a time machine parked in the future. The front grille is aggressive but clean, and it just screams Dodge. Around back, you get that classic light bar design but modernized with LEDs, and the whole car just looks like it's ready to pounce. It's one of those cars that'll make people stop and stare, whether it's parked at a gas station or rolling down Main Street. Now, about that power plant. The Sixpack name originally came from those triple two-barrel carb setups back in the day, and Dodge is honoring that heritage with this new engine. Instead of a super complicated hybrid or full EV system, the Charger Sixpack keeps things simple and visceral. Under the hood, you've got a 420 horsepower gasoline engine that delivers the kind of raw power muscle car fans have been craving. It's a throwback in the best way possible. Dodge knows not everyone is ready to give up the sound, the feel, and the smell of a gasoline engine. So this car is almost like a love letter to purists. That said, Dodge hasn't ignored modern needs. There's some light hybrid assistance baked in, mainly to improve fuel efficiency and make city driving smoother. But it doesn't take away from the rumble you're here for. You still get that muscle car heartbeat every time you hit the ignition. And believe it or not, Dodge has built a bit of versatility into this car too. Now, I'm not saying you'll be crawling over boulders or tackling mud pits, but the Charger Sixpack does come with a slightly raised suspension option and an all-wheel drive setup that gives it some surprising capability. Think of it more like an adventurous edge. You won't be afraid to take it up to the cabin, drive it on a dirt road, or handle a tough winter. It's not an off-roader in the Jeep sense, but it gives the car a wider appeal beyond just being a straight line. Street machine. Step inside, and the updates are just as exciting as what's under the hood. Dodge clearly wanted to balance old-school charm with modern tech. The interior has retro-inspired cues, like a dash layout that nods to the classic Charger, with round gauges and bold trim pieces. But sitting right there in the center is a big, modern infotainment screen that keeps you connected with Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, and Dodge's latest Uconnect system. The materials feel a step up from what Dodge used to do. Soft touch leather, contrast stitching, and real metal accents. And of course, you get those muscle car-style bucket seats that hug you just right. It feels sporty without being uncomfortable, so you can daily this thing and still feel like you're driving something special. Pricing is going to be one of the hot topics here. Dodge hasn't gone completely overboard, which is refreshing. From what's been teased, the Charger Sixpack should slot in starting somewhere in the mid-40,000s, which makes it surprisingly attainable for a car with this much personality and performance. Fully loaded versions will climb higher, of course, but the whole point of the Sixpack is to give enthusiasts an accessible entry point into retro-styled muscle, without needing to spend Hellcat money. And honestly, considering what else is out there at that price point, the Sixpack stands out as something unique. So how does this compare to past Chargers? Well, it's a fascinating mix of tradition and evolution. The last couple generations of Charger leaned heavily into the four-door muscle sedan identity. with huge engines like the 6.4-liter Hemi and the supercharged Hellcat. Those were monsters in their own right, but they were also gas guzzlers that Dodge couldn't realistically keep alive forever. The Sixpack represents a more balanced approach. It's still got the muscle and the retro swagger, but it's a little more restrained, a little more in tune with today's market. You're not getting 700 horsepower and single-digit fuel economy, but you are getting something that feels fun, authentic, and practical enough for everyday life. It's Dodge finding that sweet spot between keeping the past alive and making sure they're not left behind in the future. At the end of the day, the 2026 Dodge Charger Sixpack feels like exactly what enthusiasts have been asking for. It's retro without being outdated, powerful without being impractical, and unique in a market that's getting more and more crowded with crossovers and EVs. This is a car that celebrates the Charger's heritage while carving out a fresh identity for a new generation of drivers. Whether you're a longtime Mopar fan or just someone who misses the days when cars had real character, the Sixpack is going to put a smile on your face. So, what do you think? Has Dodge nailed it with the Sixpack? Or do you think it should have gone bigger, crazier, more in line with the Hellcat era? Personally, I love that they're bringing back an iconic nameplate with this much attention to detail. It's a reminder that not every car has to be silent and electric just yet. Sometimes, you just want to hear that engine roar and feel the history in every drive.